Hey, what's going on, Guardians? Gray here. Welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. In today's video, I wanted to talk about an exotic that a lot of people are sleeping on right now and how it really shines in this sort of ability meta that we have going on right now. This was pointed out to me by fellow YouTuber Apathetic. He makes incredible PvP focused Destiny content, so be sure to go subscribe to his channel. I'll leave a link in the description below. He is a certified big brain gamer. But I'm, of course, talking about the Eye of Another World exotic helmet for Warlocks. And in this video, we're going to break down exactly what it does and how it can turn you into an ability spamming machine. So if you guys enjoy the video and find it helpful, a like below greatly helps out the channel as it helps other people discover my content, and consider subscribing for more Destiny content like this. That's the only plug you'll get from me, so with that out of the way, let's get into it. So first off, what does the Eye of Another World do exactly? Taking a look at it, we can see the exotic perk is Cerebral Uplink. This states, highlights priority targets and improves the regeneration speed of your grenade, melee, and rift abilities. This is particularly potent when playing on a Stasis subclass because our cooldowns are actually longer on Stasis subclasses than they are on any of the light subclasses. In classic Bungie fashion, it is purposefully vague, so I did some testing to determine exactly how much this helmet actually benefits you and if there is sort of a cap to it or not. I'm going to show quite a few clips here testing cooldowns side by side. They're going to be sped up so you don't have to sit here all day while we test them, but they are as accurate as I could make them, and you can trust the times I'm showing here on the screen. Doing some research on Reddit, I found that Eye of Another World supposedly grants us an invisible plus 30 to discipline and strength. It also affects our class ability cooldown, but does not actually grant bonus stats in that department. For example, it reduces our Rift Cooldown, but doesn't actually improve our health regen from recovery. Remember, those things are tied together on the recovery stat. So it reduces the Rift Cooldown, but doesn't actually increase our recovery rate. But anyway, the first thing I wanted to do was test this. So I set my discipline to a natural 100, which would give us a 53-second cooldown on our grenade. No funny business there, 53 seconds. I then equip Eye of Another World and set my discipline stat to 70. In our UI, it now states that we have a grenade cooldown of 1 minute and 11 seconds. However, thanks to that invisible plus 30 discipline from Eye of Another World, we actually maintain that 53-second grenade cooldown as if we were still at 100 discipline. It's a lot of words to explain a simple concept, but I want to make sure I was clear while explaining it. The next question I had was if these invisible stats can actually push us above the 100 stat cooldown max. Again, remember at 100 discipline, we should have a 53-second cooldown on our grenade. So I set my discipline to 100 and equipped Eye of Another World, and surprise, it actually does push us beyond the cap, giving us a maximum cooldown of 43 seconds on our grenade. 43 seconds, that's pretty impressive for a stasis grenade. Obviously, there are some diminishing returns here. You're going to benefit more from these stats the lower your base stats actually are, but it's still really interesting to see how far you could potentially push your cooldowns using this helmet. A 43-second cooldown on a stasis grenade is nothing to scoff at. Now, I ran that same test with our other abilities as well. 100 natural strength gives us a 43-second cooldown on our melee ability. If we stack Eye of Another World on top of that, we push it further down to the quickest possible cooldown of 35 seconds. We can literally freeze an opponent every 30 seconds with the press of a button. That's pretty OP. This also applies to our Rift Cooldown, like I stated earlier, but doesn't provide any of the health regeneration. It only affects our cooldown. 100 natural recovery gives us a Rift Cooldown of roughly 41 seconds. With Eye of Another World, it gets pushed down to 34 seconds. Combined with some of our stasis fragments, we can almost have constant uptime on our Rift. It's very strong, and you will most likely be running as close to 100 recovery as you can in PvP anyway, so this is really just icing on the cake and a nice benefit to have. Like I said earlier, of course, you're going to benefit more from this the lower your stats are because of the diminishing returns, but it's good to know that even if you're at like 80 strength and you put on Eye of Another World, you're still getting the full benefit of that plus 30 stats. You can go above that 100 stat cap when using this exotic. Now, while this isn't the crowd favorite transversive steps, I still believe that Eye of Another World can be extremely strong, especially in this very ability focused meta that we're in right now. Being able to have that short of cooldowns is very powerful, especially in places like Trials of Osiris. You can be much more wasteful, for lack of a better word, with your abilities, as you'll be getting them back much faster than your opponents. And when you consider those competitive environments, most players are focusing on recovery or intellect first, and then they'll boost their cooldowns as much as they can. Warlocks can get a free plus 60 stats just from running this helmet, making it much easier to focus on more important stats like recovery, intellect, or mobility. And then when you combine the benefits of Eye of Another World alongside some of the Charged with Light mods like Powerful Friends, which gives you plus 20 mobility, and Radiant Light, which gives you plus 20 strength, you can be getting 100 free stats just by throwing on a couple of mods alongside this exotic. It's extremely powerful for adding potential to your build and for your cooldowns. But I really just wanted to point that out, guys. That's really all I have to talk about in this video. But let me know what you think. Are you going to try this out in your build? Are the free bonus stats worth it to you over something like transversive steps? Leave a comment down below and let's talk about it. Bungie hopefully has some changes coming to bring Stasis more in line with things, but this exotic is still going to be a really strong option when you're running Shadebinder on your Warlock. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible. Peace.